Welcome back to the CEO series. My name's Pete Hull, founder and CEO of Fitstop, and today we are joined by Arty, a multi-unit Fitstop business owner out of New South Wales, Australia, who sits as the king of attrition, currently at 2.5%. Arty, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Pete. Long
Mate,
time
we're
coming.
really excited to speak today. I've been really proud to play a small part in your journey. Before we get into the magic behind why you are the king of attrition, I would love to expose a little bit of your short story. Why fitness? Why are you in the position you are today?
Yeah, I've been in the industry for 15 years now, so it's been a long time, and love it every single day. But yeah, I finished school 2012, and then was like, what am I going to do with my life? And then 2013, early 2013, my dad had a heart attack in front of me at the gym together. They did CPR. He was dead for 14 minutes, which is wild.
Wow. Yes.
And he survived, which is amazing. And I think that was a big eye opener of like, I want to help people. I want to help people so other people don't go through what I just went through. And we could happen to anyone and everyone at any point in time. So I then did my studies, studied my Cert 3 and Cert 4. I got into leisure, so a bit of gym and fitness, gym and pools. And I was also doing CrossFit at the time as well. So was training CrossFit for about 10 years. I was like, this is awesome. Love the community aspect of it, working hard. And then in leisure, I was there for about 8 years. So I was just like, day to day grind, no real going forward. Learned a lot about business and taking care of people. But then in end of 2012, 2022, one of my good mates, and still my good mate to this day, Justin O'Neill, introduced me to Fitstop, and he's like, "Come down, check it out. Just come for a session." And I was like, "Okay, cool. I'll just come for a session, see what it's like." On that day as well, I've also met yourself and Stewie Cook were there. So I was just like, "Oh, these are two people. Justin introduced me, and I was like, what's going on here?" So then, over time, we kept chatting. Went and did another session. Went and did another session, and he's like, "Man, we're opening a fit stop in Dulwich Hill, which is around the corner from me." And he's like, "Are you interested? I want you to run it for us." And I was like, "Okay, cool." When I did that first fit stop session, it reminded me of like, team sport. I was like, this is something I'm missing. I used to play soccer a lot, hadn't played for a couple of years. I was like, I'm missing this. I want to do something like this again. So 2023 February, I was a manager, opened it. It was a grind, but there was a lot of little things that went wrong, but a lot of good things that went right. So we've been open for 3.5 years now.
Incredible journey. And I'm so glad I got to meet you on that first day and speak to the vision behind what we were trying to build, especially in New South Wales for the brand Fitstop. We were relatively new then.
Mhm.
Dulwich Hill has built such an incredible community, but it didn't just happen overnight. You guys have gone on your own process and learnt a lot. It opened with around 100 members, 110 or so members.
Yeah, right.
But today is one of the top performer in the network, and we're over 350 active members.
Yeah, 350.
350 members. At what stage of growing that business did you realize that attrition was king? How did that first couple of months feel, and what was the big trigger to double down on really understanding the operations of the business?
Yeah, I guess, Justin always pushed me to talk to other business owners. So, we're doing some great things in our club, but he's like, reach out to these people. So, I reached out to Mark from Northcote. I reached out from Robbie. Had Nunda at the time. Still, we got a few pit stops. We also had other multi-site owners, so like Christy, T, and Lefty. So, I was picking their brains and learning about what Fitstop is, what they're doing in their clubs, and what we can implement in our club at the time. So I was just trying to learn as much as I could and absorb it to then, okay, what can we do? Can we do something? Can we add something? Can we try to change it up? It was about 6 months in. It was July 2023. I still remember it. It was our first month where we had more cancellations than sales. So I was like, what did we do wrong? What have I missed? So with, I guess, the knowledge that I learned and took from these other business owners, I was like, okay, let's introduce something. Let's try to come up with a game plan. So I sat down with Justin and we came up with a list. And it wasn't like we just hammered it all at once. It was like, this is the list that we're going to work towards and we're going to slowly implement over time.
Yeah, and I know that's been a bit of a recipe for yourself. And again, you've followed the Fitstop system blueprint. You've reached out to our high performance owners, so you've seek to understand the knowledge, the practical knowledge, and then you've been able to create that blueprint into your own and embed that into your team culture. Not that we want to give away all of your secrets, but would love you to go through that list that you've created, and then we might jump into some of the detail of them.
Yeah, awesome. I guess, yeah, we'll go, I guess, right back to the basics. It's all about the grouping and pairing. Fitstop is big on it, but I've been to so many gyms and it's just like you train by yourself, and I'm like, this is a bit boring. So with Fitstop, it's like you come in, you get grouped up. So we've like with the coaches, with the team, it's like, hey guys, you need to group someone up when they come in, and it's not just like we just group someone up with some random person. It's like I come and train. It's like, Arty, you're going to train with Peter Hull. Peter Hull is the founder of Fitstop. He's been here since day dot. He's one of our OGs, and he likes motocross. And Arty, you like motocross as well. So then straight away, you just create that interaction of like, oh, start talking about motocross. It's
Yeah.
less about the gym now. It's more about that social of like, let's talk about motocross and let's train together. Let's get a sweat. We want to work hard. So we're really big on that. It's not just like whatever. It's like, come in, this is what you're doing, this is who you're training with, and let's have some fun. Our daily retention sheet. So it's like, we check in with members. It's not like we wait a month to see when they haven't trained. It's like after a week, after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks, we have little touch points and check-ins with them. So it's like, if they haven't been training, it's like, why haven't they been training? It's having that genuine care of like, hey, we're here to help you. We want you to come and train. We want to help you reach your goals um, and see results. End of session notes. So it's like at the end of your block, if you're doing the 3 morning classes, straight away the coach is putting in some notes about that session. So if you have someone that's new, if you have someone that's injured, you learn something new about a member, it's like they're putting these notes in. All that does is the next day when the next coach goes and coaches, they will then see these notes and be like, oh, I can talk to Pete about motocross. I don't have to ask him again. Like, hey, what do you do for work? What do you do for spare time? It's like, Pete, I heard you like motocross. What have you been riding recently? And then people like the member is like, these guys care. These guys are talking as a team, and they have that, they want to learn about us. It's not just like turn up, train, and get out of here. Um, Next one is welcome text. So it's like, sending them a text like an hour before, not an hour, a day before. It's like, hey, this is what your first session looks like. This is where you need to park. This is, we have bathrooms, we have showers, we have somewhere you can fill up your water. This is what the session looks like. Bit of a flow of it. It's like a minute long, but if a member watches that straight away, they're like, their guard goes down. They feel more confident and comfortable coming in because they're like, they can see what they're walking into. They're not just walking in blindly. So that's been massive for us. Our Facebook group and WhatsApp group. So it's just like we have a Facebook group, all our events that we run, anything that's coming up, any internal celebrations we want to celebrate. We put in there. We have our WhatsApp groups as well. So it's like a run club, or if we have training for high rocks or turf games, like we have all these little localized groups. So then people know, hey, we do more than just train. We train for things, or we have events coming up as well, which is awesome. And with our run club now, like we don't run it, like I don't run it anymore, which is amazing. But our members help out a lot. So that we have people that in there that are writing in, hey, we're going for a run on Tuesday morning or Sunday morning. Come and for a run and go for a coffee after. So the members are helping out a lot, and I love them to bits for that. And they just want to help and keep creating that community and keep it going. Uh, which brings into the next one, the community events. So, we have, social events. We run one charity event a year, bring everyone together, raise some money for, it might be something so small, but our first one we ever did was for one of our members' daughters, who has cocaine syndrome. So, which is childhood dementia. So we raise money for the family to help them with any surgeries or any fees that they need to pay for. So we help out and the community comes together and they're always so grateful and thankful, which is awesome. But yeah, other events could be just social nights. We do trivia night, um, train for your turf and your high roxes, and everything else in between. um, Long-term goals and extra events. So, that comes down to, your Hyrox and your turf games. We had 96 people at turf games this year. So pretty incredible. We're all there in our car key. And, people are looking around and be like, who are these guys? We're representing, and these members are representing for us, which is amazing. So, we're training for long-term things. It's not just like, oh, let's come and train for your 12-week block. Like, yes, that is the bread and butter, but it's like, what else can you train for? What do you want to do? Some members 6 months ago would have been like, nah, I don't want to do that, but they see other members doing it and they're like, if they can do it, I can do it, and I want to do it. So it's awesome to see. Celebrating milestones and streaks. So, our 52-week streak board, living legend. Any member shout outs, someone might have just hit their first 3 weeks, or whatever it may be. Just something so small and simple, but it's just celebrating it in club at the beginning of the class or the end of the class, whatever it may be. But other members get around each other for it, so it's awesome. Our referrals. So this is a big one that we touch on, where it's not just like, oh, Pete, do you have someone you want to train with? It's like we take them out for a coffee. We sit down with them. What are we doing well? What can we do better? Is there anything you want to see change in club? Are you hitting your goals? How can we help you hit your goals? At the end of that conversation, it's like, you love it here. Who's someone else that would benefit for training here? And can we have their details? Can you bring them in? Can we help them? So that's been a massive thing for us. In-depth conversations in class, and always touch on it, but it's always, having a care about it. It's not just like, hey, Pete, how you going? It's like, checking in. Hey, Pete, seen you training 3 times a week. You've been smashing it recently. Are you training for anything in particular? That conversation from, hey, how are you, to I've seen you doing this. What are you training towards? That member straight away feels like these guys care. They want to help me. They want to see me keep coming back and training and giving my all, whatever they are training towards. But if someone hasn't been coming in, it's like, calling them and checking in. How you going? How can we help you? We want to help you. So that's massive for us. Celebrating personal wins. So, if someone's on social media, they just got promoted, they had a wedding, they got engaged, whatever it may be, just sharing their story, showing that we want to help them and whatever, in whatever aspect of their life, but just celebrating it in club as well, which is awesome. Our end of year awards. So we follow the Fitstop end of year awards as well. We sort of follow the same structure, and members get around each other. So we do a members choice award as well. So when we release that, people get to vote, and it's always fun and games in club. But it's like people are, they want to vote for their friends because they're like, we want them to win. They're the people that bring the energy and bring the vibes to the class. So it's also awesome to see. And then the last one would be our physio slash chiro relationship. So it's not just like checking in with a physio and be like, cool, you're our local physio. It's like, go and do a consult with them, see what their structure's like. So there's so many times where people will just go to the physio and then all of a sudden, oh, you can't train for a month. You got to follow this physio program. But it's like, with our physios, and we're really lucky with our physios because they've trained with us, they've done the program, they understand it. So then when you do go to them, they're like, hey, you can still go and train. This is the program, just modify X, Y, and Z. And then they let us know as the team. So it's like, hey guys, Pete's come in, he's got a dodgy right knee. This is what you need to look out for. Maybe just modify a few movements for him. So then it just makes it easier for the coaches to also coach, and they prepared for when Pete comes in for the session. But yeah,
Hey,
this, yeah.
because hey, that's an incredible list, right? And as you go through all of that, someone listening right now could think, okay, that's 15 points. I don't have the capacity to do it right now. They're in the position you were, where maybe they've had a few more cancels than they've got people joining, right? But when I really think about how you could break that down into a couple of key buckets, which I think is really important, right? We can compartmentalize a couple of key components here and think through the stuff that you've just talked about. The first one really is making sure that you've got a really dialed in sales process slash onboarding process. So you talked about, firstly, you need to understand what your members' goals are, right? You want to get to know that member. You want to be able to communicate that to the coaches. But one of the key things you did throughout that was it wasn't just about booking them into a class. It was lowering that barrier of intimidation. And you're doing that by sending them a text message with a video attached, showing them where they're going to park, what they're going to expect from the workout, what the flow of the room is going to look like, where the bathrooms are, what they should bring, right? Really setting them up for success. So when they walk in, they're greeted by the coach. The coach knows that they're coming in. They've got a few notes on them. They're building that relatability. And they also already know who they're going to pair them with. They're going to pair them or group them, as you said, with someone that's like-minded, right? They're potentially at the same level of fitness. They've got something in common, but they're going to feel safe. They've made a mate straight away, right? They've made a friend. They're going to feel connected to something more than just a workout, right? So you've been able to really dial that in, and no doubt you've got a sales process that wraps all of that, that makes sure that they feel super connected and they understand Fitstop's going to help them with their goal. Right? Your second part you spoke about was all about building community, right? You've got them in the door, you've got them excited, you know their goals. All right, we're now going to build community. And there's a list of 5 things you rattled off there, right? All the celebrations, the annual events, the high rocks, the in-house games that you guys do, game day, all of the celebrations. But if you put that all together as a calendar, that might be 1 or 2 things a quarter. You've spread that out across the year. You've given members intent with a reason they're going to train. And you're also going to give them their 15 seconds of fame as they go throughout the year. People's birthdays, becoming a living legend. And then you also mentioned Run Club. Right? But in that community group that you're driving through WhatsApp and Facebook, your community is taking over now, so that when someone says, yeah, I'm jumping into Run Club this Tuesday or Sunday, you've already got 5 or 6 community leaders that are already driving that. They've probably booked the coffee, right? And they're getting around each other, right? So you've created that into its own structure that's now fueling itself. The third part you spoke about is things like tracking the data, doing the check-ins, doing the referral program, which, by the way, I think if you're not doing this, buying a member coffee is the cheapest $5 referral you're ever going to get, right? We all know the cost of meta ads these days, cost per member, cost per acquisition, cost per click, all the things. Taking a member out and genuinely showing that you care by asking them for feedback. I think you guys have a KPI, something like 2 coffees a week. So it's not 10 where it gets watered down, diluted, shitty coffee date, right? It's genuinely caring about your members. If you're doing 2 a week, that's 100 plus people you're checking in with a year. That could be 100 plus referrals you're getting. But you're genuinely checking in because you care. It's the reason you started in fitness in the first place, right? You're driving a referral off the back of that. But again, this is spread now through your team. So your team's been able to check in the managers you've got across your 3 studios, and that's functioning its own third bucket there, right? So all of a sudden, it's not overwhelming. You've got structure around it, and you've built this across the year that it's something that you can execute on. I want to touch on that third bucket real quick. Your leadership has obviously grown, and your delegation of now roles between your studios. You've gone from 1 really high-performing studio now to building out 3 and looking at a 4th. What does that look like? What's your team structure look like? How have you built that culture, and what's your cadence weekly with that team?
Yeah, we I guess we have 3 managers, so 1 for each site. But I guess for Dulwich Hill, like, I get to work with my soon-to-be wife, Eden. So, she's leading it there. Also, my mum is one of the coaches, works across 2 of the gyms. And, for my mum, a lot of mums right now coming through our gym who've just had kids or about to have kids, they resonate with her. They see her, she's had 3 kids, and she's in there training. She's almost 60. She'll hate that, but she's giving it her all, and she's leading by example, which is awesome.
Mhm.
And then also we have Lucy there as well. So she's from Czech Republic, and she's a hard taskmaster. So people love her. They know that they're not going to get away with any shit there. But yeah, with our cadence, I guess for the managers across the group, it's like we have our weekly meeting on a Monday, set us up for the week, what we sort of learned from last week, and what we can implement for the week coming. Some weeks it might just be just a quick check in. How's everything going? We go through our numbers, um, and just all the key KPIs really of what we need to achieve. And then with our team meeting, so each team has its own team meeting, and they do that once a week. So the manager leads that. I'll jump in when I can and when I need to, but they're leading that with their coaches. So it's just like, finding out where we're sitting with our members. Are there any new members that we can talk through? Are there any cancellations coming up? Anyone injured, anyone to look out for, and then talk about the programming, what programming is coming up, so the coaches know and the managers know, like what we're doing in our club. It's not just turning up and running a class and getting out. It's like they're connected. They want to be there, and then we currently, yeah, we've been doing since the start of the year. We're doing every week. The managers sit down. We do a book club, so it's our PD session, bit of personal development. So we're just upskilling ourselves, whatever it may be. And at the moment, it's all about mindset. So, we can have all the systems and processes and everything out there in the world. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the right mindset and you want to grow and you want to lead, you will not succeed. So it's been really cool and I'm loving it. And the managers are loving it as well. And then from that, we do our big team once a month to once every 2 months. We'll go out and whether it's going for a dinner, where we just did lawn bowls the other week. We train together. So it's just like all these little things that we do, and we're just upskilling ourselves. Sometimes I'll lead a coaching session where it's like, hey, this is what to look for. This is how to, coach a clean or whatever it may be. We get a lot of help from Fitstop, but then it's also our internally. We want to make sure that we're keeping our finger on the pulse and getting the best results for our members.
And you mentioned that you lean into Fitstop. We run and host these days, whether it's from a business owner, manager, or a team standpoint. How important do you think it is for your team to show up to those things?
So important, like 10 out of 10 important. We let them know well in advance,
Mhm,
because at the end of the day, they might take away one thing, and that's what I
mhm,
always say to people. If you do 100 seminars or webinars and you take away one thing from every single one, there's 100 things you didn't know.
mhm,
So we make it mandatory to go to these things, but the coaches want to go and turn up because they're like, I'm going to get something out of this. I'm going to take away something, and that's just the culture we've built. It's not just like, "Oh, I can't turn up um, doing nothing on the day." It's like, hey, come and do it. Um, you know, take your time out of the day, and they come and we get to hang out and we get to learn. So it's
How
awesome.
could you not with Pap and Tommy leading that sort of stuff? And you've obviously created a culture that's driving performance. We're high performers. We just want to keep seeking education and knowledge and soak it all up. You also
Mhm.
mentioned training together. So my other
Mm.
question is like, how important do you think it is for your coaches to be doing workouts with your members in a fit stop, sweating with everyone? What does that mean?
Yeah, it's so important. I do it almost every day now. I was training for a marathon, so I wasn't doing much fit stop, and it was killing me. But now
Mhm,
back into the routine, I go and sweat, and I love to just train with any member, anyone and everyone. Like it doesn't really matter where they are, if they're a
yeah.
beginner, if they've been doing it for 3 years. But it's just like having that connection with them, because when you start sweating with someone, you become vulnerable and you
Mhm,
start to open up a little bit more. So we try to, like, for me personally, I'll do sessions across the gyms, but then for our managers and for our coaches, like they're jumping in, and they'll message in our group of saying, "Hey guys, I'm training at 12:30 today. Who's training with me?" And then you might get another coach or another two coaches there. So it's just like creating that hey, we're training, we all train Fitstop. Let's train together more and train together with our members as well, because they love to see leading from the front and being like, inspires them of like, I want to be
Yes.
like that.
Yeah, and look, I'm a bit biased here, but I think we've got the best, product in the world, the best training product in the world, and it allows us to just do so much with our life. You guys absolutely lead from the front. You're training in Fitstop. You're believing in the product, the methodology. Your members are seeing that. But then where the magic happens, I think, is where you can take a Fitstopper outside the four walls and plug them into a community event. You talked about turf games, 96 plus people doing that. You get a huge participation rate to things like your game days and high rocks and people signing up to triathlons and marathons. But that's only because you guys are actually doing them as well. What does that mean to you, and why do you think that's super important that you get that kind of level of participation from your members?
Yeah, they'll harp on it to the day I die. It's like people can turn up and train all they want, but if they're not training towards something, or it might be for life, but it's just like,
Mhm.
let's train for something. Let's challenge yourself. Go outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You will see more results, and we need to be challenged in our day to day life, in our world. So it's just like, it's not just it doesn't just come down to me and the team. It comes down to the other members that have done it, and they're like, they push the other members. So like with turf games, prime example, we had one person and they were looking for three people, and they were just going around the gym and being like, "You're doing turf games with me. You're doing turf games with me." But it's like, it with that, instead of just coming from the coaches, it's just like, this member wants me to do it with them, and if they're doing
Mhm.
it, I can't let them down. I need to do it with them.
Yeah.
So it's just like, inspiring the people around them, and it just comes down to creating those friendships and being like, we're gonna do this together, and we're in it together.
Yes, oh, I couldn't agree more. And we talk about this all the time, right? Our mission is to inspire the world to move more so they can live more. Getting
Mhm.
outside those four walls, being pushed outside of your comfort zone, and achieving something you didn't think possible. Like that's where the magic happens. That's where true vulnerability comes out, and real connection. And when I think a member can look back and say, "I achieved that because of Arty, the team, Fitstop's programming, but most importantly, I did it with my friends." Right?
Mm.
That's truly special. Yeah, and we just love that about what you guys are doing in New South Wales, and absolutely leading from the front. Now, time's coming to the end here, but I wanted to finish on your top three things that if you extract yourself from the business, bird's eye view, that you believe are non negotiable to not only running a good fitness business, but a high performing fitness business that gets the kind of results that you are. What are they?
Yeah, my number one thing, and it's, if you're in fitness, you need to care. You need to have a genuine care, and that comes down to yourself, but then also your team. You're not turning up, or you're not turning up, but it's like, you want to go and help people. You're in this business to help people. Let's
Yeah.
help people.
Mhm.
So it's just like, we when you do check in with them, it's just not just a, how you doing? It's like, how can I help you? What can we do for you?
Mhm.
And then pulling through and showing them that we can do that. So that's my number one thing, and that comes from yourself and also the team around you. So making sure you have the right team around. My second one would be pairing people up. When they come in, it's just like, whatever gym you go to, some people go to 24/7 gyms. Good on them. It's not for me,
Mhm.
and it'll never be for me. But it's just like, we want, when people come to our gym, it's like, let's train with someone that's like-minded. Let's group them up. We know that if they get grouped up with someone and they get along with them, they're going to create that friendship. They're going to start hanging out, get coffee together outside of the gym. They're going to keep each other accountable, and they're just going to keep training together. Um, and that's what we do a lot in
Mhm.
our gyms. And then the third thing would be our daily retention. So, don't wait a month and be like, Pete hasn't been in a month. It's like, no, no. Pete hasn't been in for more than 7 days or less than 7 days. Like, Pete hasn't trained this week. Let's check in with him. How you doing? He might tell you he's on holidays. He might tell you just had a kid. Might tell you something that you're like, wow, if I waited another month, you missed the
Mhm.
boat. He's cancelled and he's gone and found another gym. So it's like, having that spreadsheet or whatever you want to build, or, there's so many AI tools out there at the moment, but it's just like, if you're have the tool, use it and make it happen. show that you care for your members and check in with them. But yeah,
Yeah.
that would be my top three.
No, it's look, it comes out in every conversation I have with you, but it's been shown again today. You genuinely care. You're in this industry for all the right reasons, and you're reaping the reward. Obviously, from a financial standpoint, constantly investing back into your team, growing the business, and looking to scale now as a multi-unit owner. We're super proud of what you've done, and if business owners out there can take away a few key things today, you don't have to do it all overnight. But if you chip away at this, you do it for all the right reasons. You start to implement some of this structure into your business. You reach out to other high performing business owners. You look at your data, then you too can have that magic number of 2.5% attrition rate to make sure, most importantly, you're growing your net member movement month on month, and you're making a huge impact in your local area community's lives. So thank you so much for your time today, Arty, and we can't wait to consistently follow your process.
Thank you, Pete.